They thought they were just picking on a quiet farm girl's family in a small, town diner. But what they didn't know was that her father, sitting quietly at the corner table, was one of the most feared Navy SEALs alive. And the moment they crossed the line, their world would change forever. The small, town diner smelled of fresh biscuits and brewed coffee that morning. Emma, a quiet farm girl with kind eyes, sat across from her younger brother, Daniel, enjoying their pancakes. Their father, John, a man with a weathered face, calm presence, and the silence of someone who had seen too much, sat at the far end of the booth, reading the local paper. To anyone else, John was just another hard-working farmer who kept to himself. But his children knew better. Before life on the farm, John had been something else. Something legendary. He was a Navy SEAL. A man who had endured the harshest battles and carried scars both visible and invisible. That morning, the peace was interrupted when a group of local bullies swaggered into the diner. They were loud, arrogant young men who often mocked Emma for being the quiet farm girl in their school. Today, though, their target wasn't just her. It was her whole family. They slid into the booth behind her, sneering. "Hey, farm girl," one of them said, kicking Daniel's chair. "Did your cows forget to feed you? You look hungry." The others laughed. Emma clenched her fists but stayed silent. She was used to their cruelty, but today Daniel was with her. And they wouldn't stop. Another bully snatched Daniel's glass of milk, pouring it on the table. "Oops. Guess farm kids can't handle real life outside the barn." The diner grew tense. People watched, whispering, but no one dared step in. John lowered his paper just slightly, his steel blue eyes locking onto the bullies for a split second. But he didn't move. Not yet. Emma's voice trembled as she told them to stop, but they only laughed louder, calling her pathetic. One even shoved Daniel so hard he almost fell off his chair. That's when something inside John shifted. He folded his newspaper slowly, placed it neatly on the table, and rose. The room grew quiet. His steps were calm, deliberate. Like a man with no fear, only certainty. The bullies smirked at first, until they saw his expression. His presence alone sent a chill through the diner. Without raising his voice, John said, "You've made a mistake today. And you don't even realize how big it is." The boys laughed nervously, one muttering, "What are you gonna do, old man?" But what they didn't know, the man standing before them wasn't just Emma's father. He was a warrior, trained to face enemies far stronger and more dangerous than any of them could ever imagine. The diner owner tried to intervene. "John, maybe let it go." But John raised a hand calmly, his eyes never leaving the bullies. He moved closer, and in a blur, he disarmed the ringleader who had pulled out a pocket knife to look tough. The weapon was now in John's hand, dismantled. Before anyone even realized what happened, the bullies froze, their cocky grins fading into pale silence. "Do you know what a Navy SEAL is?" John asked quietly, his voice steady but carrying weight like thunder. "No. Let me teach you something about respect." Then, without violence, he guided the ringleader's arm into a lock and pressed him against the table. Controlled, precise, no wasted movement. The others tried to rush forward, but John's training kicked in like second nature. Within seconds, they were all pinned, disarmed, and gasping for air, their arrogance shattered. The diner was silent. Every customer watched in awe. John released them slowly and stood tall, his voice calm but sharp. "You think strength is about bullying the weak. Real strength is protecting them. You humiliated my children in front of this town. But today, you'll learn something you'll never forget." The bullies, trembling, muttered apologies to Emma and Daniel. The diner owner whispered to another customer, "That man, he was a Navy SEAL. No wonder." Emma's eyes filled with tears, not from fear, but pride. For years she had known her father as the quiet farmer who fixed fences and woke before dawn. But now, everyone saw what she always knew: her father was a protector, a hero. John placed a hand on Emma's shoulder. "You don't need to fight battles with hate. Just remember, those who hurt others are often the weakest inside." The bullies stumbled out of the diner, humiliated but forever changed. The small town never looked at Emma's family the same way again. They weren't just a farm family anymore. They were the family of a Navy SEAL. Closing message. The story of Emma and her father is more than just about bullies in a diner. It's about the quiet power of those who live among us. Heroes we don't always recognize. Never mistake kindness for weakness. And remember, respect is earned, not taken.